Namaste, beautiful soul. Welcome to the Blooming Lotus Healing Channel. My name is Jikara, and I'm a spiritual healing facilitator. And today we're going to talk about energetic cords and soul connection patterns. And before we get started, I kind of wanted to take a moment to drop into gratitude. Thank you so much for being part of this channel. I want to thank you for just subscribing, liking this video, sharing this video. If you haven't subscribed yet, or you haven't, or if you feel inspired to share and like this video, I kind of want to invite you to do so. And I want to take a moment also to thank all of those who are part of the Cosmic Light Activation Group. Those who are part of this membership are basically the skeleton of this channel. So thank you so much. And I want to take a moment just to say, if you are someone who are you want to receive healing every month, and maybe you want to experience spiritual response therapy and clear your Akashic records on an ongoing basis, and you want to do so in community, then I definitely want to invite you to go into my website, thebloominglotushealing.com, and I'll leave the link on the description below as well, and sign up for my email list, because that's how I am inviting people in, is through my email list. And so definitely do make sure that you sign up for it, so that way you know when I open the doors next. I will be opening the doors pretty soon again. So I definitely want to invite you to make sure that you sign up, so that you can come in and receive. So you're not only going to be supporting this channel by joining the Cosmic Light Activation membership, but you also get access to a private Telegram group, where you get a weekly Oracle collective reading, as well as a monthly Akashic record clearing with a group. So it's a collective clearing. And it's really great to do this, because it really helps us, kind of like disconnect from the collective energies that sometimes kind of get, attached to us. And so it's just a really great way for us to practice that energetic hygiene and really go deeper in your own healing journey. So this is going to support your healing journey with whatever other modality that you may be doing, or even if you're doing plant medicine or anything like that. Especially, this is really geared towards those who really want to be there to support others, and who are here to do so, maybe even healing work or therapy work. This goes for the empaths, those who are really just sensitive to the energies of others. This is definitely a group that will support you with that energetic hygiene that we kind of need to practice. So I look forward to seeing you there, and I hope that that you come in with an open heart to receive. It is a beautiful space, very safe, very clean. And yeah, and also I kind of want to invite y'all to, if y'all don't know, I do have an Instagram, and kind of wanted to invite you over there, because as part of the Cosmic Light Activation membership, you get priority on the readings that I do there on Instagram. But I do readings every Monday from 7 to 9 p.m., depending on the day. It could be 7 to 8:30, depending. But there's definitely a weekly kind of collective. No, it's not collective. It's actually I pick people from the audience, and I do very short readings, but something that you can take advantage of. So I really want to invite you to hop over to my Instagram and follow me there, so that way you are aware when I go live there on Monday. So enough about this. I just kind of wanted to drop into the conversation, right, on energetic cords and soul connection patterns. And before we kind of get started into, because it's going to be something that I'm going to have to kind of explain in different phases here, because I want to make sure that you follow me, and that I don't lose you in this conversation. Today I was actually teaching the beloved method to my students, and I got inspired to share this specifically, because this is something that we address with the beloved method, that I created to clear energies between you and other people. And this is something that was kind of revealed on ongoing basis for for the past year to me, right? And so, and this is not new. This has been picked up by many other people. Later, I found out, so I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." So that we're all connecting to truth here. But I kind of wanted to really just dive into what is an energetic cord first, because I feel that there's a lot of misunderstanding in regards to the energetic cords, and there's also this misunderstanding of having to cut cords, which is not truly possible, because we're interconnected. We are actually part of this oneness, and if you are familiar, if you're not familiar with oneness and duality, I'm gonna leave on the description below, or maybe leave somewhere around here, a suggestion on a video that I talk about oneness, but I digress. So I kind of want to dive into energetic cords. So what happens is, we are energy, right? Like you're basically energy. And yes, we are embodied in this body, and we're in this dense 3D, experience. However, we're beyond this, this body. Like, this is just a small piece of the puzzle of our being, right? So we have the physical body, we have the mental, we have the emotional, and then we have the spiritual body, right? And the spiritual body, when I talk about the spiritual body, I'm including basically everything that has to do with your energy and all the different levels or subtle bodies of who you are, right? And when we go around the world, we are basically expressing our energy out. So like we're basically, even if we're not, speaking to someone, or not interacting with anyone, we're in a way, let's say broadcasting. I think that's the best way to explain it. We're broadcasting our energy. Now, something happens whenever we actually broadcast our energy, or we focus the energy when we interact with another person. So for example, we're kind of broadcasting our energy in general, and whether people pick it up or not, or their souls pick it up or not, that's on them. But when you are interacting with someone, then there's almost like this funneling that happens, right? That kind of goes into this energetic, think about it like tunnel vision, right? Like just kind of like focus, like laser focus, that happens at that moment. And this happens on both ends. And you're not necessarily thinking about this when you're doing this, right? But the best way that I can describe it is like, when you're kind of like just distracted and you're just focusing on the person, you know, when you're doing that at the mental, you're also doing that at the energetic way. So what happens is that we're continuing to broadcast our energy, and there's almost this conversation that is happening automatically. We're not necessarily like thinking about it again. It's just happening automatically. And this conversation, this auric conversation that is happening, is basically transferring information with each other, right? And so what happens is that we have the other person broadcasting their energy, right? Let's say you have two people talking on a coffee shop, and they're just drinking their coffee and they're talking. You're going to have, the two people kind of like broadcasting their energy, and kind of like funneling this energy into kind of like this, what we call the cord, right? This as with communication, tunnel. Let's just call it a tunnel, right? I don't know if you've ever watched Super Mario, but like those tunnels, right? It's kind of like that, right? And so when you're sending your energy, it's not only your energy being sent out, the other person is sending it in, and there's almost like this like mishmash of the energy that's happening there. And this is happening so quickly, right, that you get immediate responses within yourself, and these responses are going to come in the form of energy and motion, which is emotions, right? It's going to come in the form of emotions for you. And so this is where it's so important to recognize that our emotions are such powerful tools to help us navigate things that are happening in the subtle bodies for us, and especially in the interactions with others. So for example, let's say you are walking into a coffee shop, and you are, you don't know anyone in there. It's like, you're in a new town, and there's this person standing in front of you, and they seem to be nice. They seem to be, minding their own business. And when you interact with this person, or when your energy interacts with this person, you feel this this automatic um energetic, maybe like rejection of this person, of kind of like feeling like this resistance or something is happening there. So what happens is, at that moment, you might be thinking, it was like, oh, your mind might go like, oh, this person is this or that. Your mind might go into a spot to try to understand, or give you a sense of, or a story, or a sense of understanding of why this emotion is happening. So this is where you want to be very careful, because a lot of times when we're telling ourselves a story, which is coming from the ego, and the ego, really does work with the mind. And the ego, there's nothing wrong with the ego. However, the ego can mislead us into believing the story when there's really something else happening on the background. So, so I'm gonna give you a real life situation that happened to me. So, last year I was going into a women's retreat, and I was going in there, and I knew this person was coming in, because I was told that, oh yeah, this person is coming in, and I've never met this person before. And for whatever reason, when I heard their name and I heard their voice, I felt this automatic resistance. I've never met this person in my life. Where is this coming from, right? Like, why am I feeling this resistance? So I kind of, I was listening to that, and I was like, okay, well, let me navigate this right now. I'm just going to pay attention to this. And so, once I, meet this person, once I meet them in person, like, I definitely felt that full blown resistance that was really like in my face, that I couldn't deny anymore, that there was something energetically happening. And of course, because of the nature of the work that I do, I was aware of this. However, 10 years ago, the Jakara of 10 years ago, she probably would have reacted negatively, and I would have been in that reactive mode, in that reactive state, and just kind of automatically just told a story, right? About this person, and like, oh, I don't like this about them, and like, oh, like, I can't stand them. And I would have gone into this storyline and created this thing to kind of, again, the ego is trying to explain this whole thing for us. So we want to make sure that we go beyond the mind always with this type of situation, and we kind of go into the emotion, and also kind of go into the spiritual aspect of things. And so the way that you would navigate this is to kind of like really sit with this and say, okay, well, where is this coming from? Is there something inside of me that's being triggered? And then where, what is that trigger? Is this something that makes sense right now for me? Is this person reminding me of someone, or is this person reminding me of an interaction, and maybe their voice sounds like someone else's voice that maybe I've had a negative interaction with? And you can go through all of that, right? Like, just kind of like sit with that and see if there's something that kind of rings a bell for you. So if that's the case, that could potentially be something energetically within you that needs to be addressed. However, step forward. One step forward from that would be also, which is something that we do with the beloved method, is that we can check, right? And you could also come to me if you don't want to learn the beloved method. You could also come to me, and we can check this for you. We can check to see if there's any karmic energies that are stored um, in the interaction between you guys that need to be cleared. What do I mean by this? This is where the soul connection pattern comes into play. So when, remember, like I mentioned, there's like these chords, right? And these chords, there's these chords are basically located at the seven major energy centers, which are, we call the chakras. And so when we interact with the other person, this is, again, automatically, there's like this, energy, all of it, all of the chords are kind of like connecting with each other, both. And so that scanning of information happens, in seconds, milliseconds, really. And then that immediate response is going to come in, whether it could be positive too. You could be feeling a lot of joy and expansion and excitement to meet this person, and you feel like you know them forever and all this. That still, that's the energy, the soul connection pattern also at work there. So when all of this is happening, there's going to be a remembering, right? At the energetic level of like, oh, this karmic thing happened, right? And so then that's going to trigger that emotion, or that discordance within you, right? And so why is this important for you to know? Is because depending on where the connection cord is, has stored this specific karmic program, it can affect certain parts of your life. So this could be someone that is constantly in your life, that there may be some discordance happening over and over, and there could be some karmic programs related to poverty, for example, or related to to bitterness, or related to slavery. It could be so many things, right? But all I'm trying to say is, like, there could be these things happening and that you're not aware of, but all you're receiving is just that, and an energy in motion, or the emotional um you know um let's say charge, right? And so what I'm trying to explain here is that you know we don't really cut the cords between us and the other people. We actually, what we need to do is heal the cords. We need to heal the that we quite literally go in there, right, into that, let's say, that tube that I was mentioning, right? Like, that tunnel, we go in there, and there's going to be like junk in there that needs to be cleared, right? That stuff that needs to be released, right? And so then we go there and we release that. And so once you release that, then that harmonizes the energy and creates an interdependence between you and the other person. So there's no longer, like, sometimes there could be codependence energy running through with the energy centers, and so and connection cords, right? And so that needs to be harmonized between both people. So, this can happen from the crown all the way to the root chakra, right? And the discordance can be stored in more than one energy center, actually. So sometimes it could be like just one energy center, and sometimes it could be all energy centers, or sometimes it could be just a few energy centers, just two or three. And then we just kind of go in there and just take care of that, right? Like, we clear that. Now, you could also, my way is not the only way, right? Like, you could also, if you do Reiki, you can send Reiki, to those areas, to those energy cords, and energy centers, and request, for things to be cleared between you and that person. Another way that you can do that is by sending love into that energy cord, right? But it is important for you to at least know which energy cord that is. And you could always try to scan that, especially if you do Reiki on yourself. You can try to scan where that was kind of happening for you, like maybe like recall the interaction with the person, and recall it in your body and see where you felt it energetically. And maybe you felt it in the root, or maybe you felt it in the solar plexus, or maybe you felt it in the throat. And then just allow yourself to apply healing to that space. Okay. Now, what I want to be very clear about this is that this doesn't mean that when you're doing that interaction, the energy interaction with each other, it doesn't mean that you have to be in each other's space, right? This is just energy interaction that is happening outside of our bubbles, right? So if you're worried about, your personal, bubble, right? Your personal energetic bubble, you don't have to worry about that necessarily, because as long as you're practicing energy hygiene, as long as you're shielding yourself, as long as you're creating sacred boundaries, then you don't have to worry about having your energy mismatch with others. So this interaction can happen even outside of our bubble, because again, this is communication that is happening between both souls. So whether you I want to invite you to kind of like recognize, like, whenever you have an interaction with someone and you're feeling triggered, or you're feeling like something's off or something, or you've always had like a good relationship but then suddenly you're kind of feeling a little off, um, you know, you might want to send some healing energy to, to yourself, to your energy centers, and extend that energy out, that love out into that person. Another thing that you can do as well is to practice oponopono. And so it's kind of like a prayer or a mantra that you can say, especially if you don't practice Reiki. So this is something that anyone can do. And so the Oponopono prayer, you can say it. You can first, you first fill yourself up with the light, with that beautiful light, and then you express that out into the person, right? So the first thing you want to do is to, receive the light, allow it to overflow, allow yourself to feel that love. And then once you feel that, then you can extend that out into the person, so that you can, try to harmonize the energies between, you and the other person. So I hope this made sense to you. I know this is kind of like, sometimes I worry that I'm not explaining this in a clear manner. So please make sure that you leave comments below if you have any questions, or if you want to learn more about this stuff. If you want to learn more about the beloved method, maybe you want to learn about the blueprint of love, let me know in the comments if you want to learn about that, so I can talk to you about that. And yes, this is one of my favorite things to do, is to really harmonize these energetic connections with people. It basically, like, it makes my life basically go around. So but anyway, so I just kind of wanted to just share with you that, this, so that you can use this on an ongoing basis for yourself. And if you feel you need additional support, you can always come to me and book a session at thebloomy-lotus-healing.com. But again, I'm not the end all be all. You can go to your favorite healer, whoever you feel connected to, and just ask them to apply the healing, the healing in the cords. You don't have to cut the cords, because the reality is that you don't really disconnect from anyone. What really needs to happen is harmonizing of the cords. That's really what needs to happen. So anyway, so that's all I have here. I want to invite you to share and like this video if you feel that this helped you. And please make sure that you subscribe to this channel if you haven't subscribed yet, and turn on that bell. And I want to thank you again for being part of this journey with me. I love the community that we're building here. I love the sense of support that everyone is connecting to here, and I'm so grateful. And this is truly the intention that I have for this, is for this to be as supportive as possible within the possibilities of what I can do, right? But this is really truly a dream for me. So thank you so much. It means the world to me. And I know I keep saying that, but I have to say it every time. I'm grateful for you watching this video, and for you being part of this. And please share this for with anyone that you feel can potentially benefit from this information. So I'm going to leave you now with so much love, so much gratitude, and namaste.